Pambukas ng ano? Pambukas ng wine. You can put your name. Annie.
Okay, everyone in. Shorties in the front, taller ones a little bit more to the back. You guys already noise having. Afterwards, I'll also explain the cheese making process, and then it's the best part. Cheese tasting. Unless you don't like cheese, that's the worst part. For me, it's the best. Now start with clogs. Now clogs are of course made of wood. And here in the Netherlands, the wood type that we use is poplar wood. And the reason we use poplar is because it's a bit lighter and softer. So it makes it a lot easier to work with and also not as heavy. There are two ways that we can make clogs, or do everything by hand with a big knife. The only problem with that is that takes about 2 to 2.5 hours only to make one shoe. But luckily we also have machines, and that takes less than 10 minutes. That's what we're going to do. I already put the block in. If you are standing at the front and you don't wear glasses, grab some glasses. If you guys can't see, there's also 2 monitors up here that you can see. The right one will be for the first machine and the left one will be for the second. Yeah. Grab some glasses. I also have my safety glasses, otherwise it's definitely not safe. It's an old machine, it makes some noise, but it's part of it. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Now here, this is only the outside. Now we also have to do the inside. And the inside, we do this drill here. Now, just like the lathe, it has a matching template in the middle for the inside. The only thing though is that the lathe will do everything automatically, and this one's still manual. Yeah? Let's hook this up. So you guys are all Aussies?
Yes.
No Kiwis?
No.
Brave soul?
Well, yeah, but she's mainly Aussie.
She's being converted into an Aussie?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
There you go. Look at this shoe. Yeah, I'm short, so you can see me. There we go. Now I'm a real Dutch guy. Hey, you guys see? Now, shoes, of course, not done yet, because if you want to make shoes to wear, the next step is cut the base off, then let the wood dry, and once it's dry, you sand them. It takes roughly 10 minutes to make a pair with the machine. Then if you discount the drying can take up to 2 weeks. It takes about another 20 minutes to sand them, at least for this size. And then when they're done, they'll look like this.
Cute.
So,
Do you export them?
no, nothing leaves this farm unless it's sold.
Okay.
Nothing. We don't distribute. We're like our own little island.
Oh.
So you never go anywhere from here?
No, everyone just stays here. No. Now the shoes, they're still worn today because everyone always wants to know, are these clogs still worn today? And if you guys are curious and you actually want to try a pair on, you're more than welcome to. But the way they're supposed to fit is that you're going to find your shoe size, and then you take your foot and you push your feet all the way to the front, so your toes are touching the front, and their thumb needs to be able to fit in the back. So they're always going to be slightly bigger than your regular shoes, and that's because you're supposed to be able to slip in and out of them relatively easily. They're generally worn with thick socks. Remember, this is wood. Wood doesn't stretch. So you need that extra room for your feet to be able to breathe. Yeah? Now they're not going to be comfortable right away, but they do become comfortable because it's made from poplar, and poplar is a soft wood. The more that you wear them, the more comfortable they become, and the wood will actually shape towards your feet. So you just have to get used to them. Yeah? Now you can make them in a lot of different shapes and sizes besides for wearing, because you can also make bottle openers out of them. Probably the most important shoe you ever own in your life. You can make
You're Aussie.
pencil sharpeners out of them. Yeah. Yeah, it's not only for the kids or for the grandchildren, but also for the ladies, for the eyeliners and stuff like that. Yeah. Or my personal favorite is that you can even make birdhouses out of them.
It's about his
Yeah, the bed and
bird.
breakfast shoe, because downstairs is sleeping and upstairs is eating. Now, since you guys are all from Australia and New Zealand, I have good and bad news. Now, the bad news is that Australia and New Zealand don't allow fresh wood. The good news is that the only fresh wood here is the one we literally just made. Everything that you're able to purchase has already been treated, so everything that you're able to purchase, you are allowed to take back with you, even the things without paint on it. Yeah? That being said, any of the clogs without paint, we can also engrave. Like this one says bed and breakfast on here. And engraving we do for free. You just have to let one of the young ladies know what you want on here. Maybe write it down for them and they'll put it on the shoe. They don't do it at the very last second because it does take a couple of minutes. Yeah? Okay. Questions? Well, you guys are easily satisfied. Then we go to the cheese.
Well, how many would you make a day and how many would sell to the
Depends.
local?
So we don't do that much production anymore because we mainly focus on the cheese. Cheese is our main product.
Well, he's going to do the cheese here as well. Usually the Christina does it. But
Like the cow.
Yeah, I belong to the interior. Alright, so besides clogs, we also make cheese. Now this is our actual cheese room. So what happens? In the morning, the milk comes, well first in the afternoon, the milk comes from the pipe. And over here, we break this open, lead it straight down in the tub. First, we fill the tub with the evening milk. Then, what we do is we run cold water through the wall of the tub to keep that milk cool into the morning, like a refrigerator. Then in the morning milk comes in, we warm everything back up, and then we start the cheese making process. Then, when we have all the milk together, it doesn't automatically turn into cheese, so we do have to add things to it. First thing, cheese culture, or cheese bacteria. And the cheese culture will determine the flavor and the structure of the cheese. We make Gouda cheese, we also use a Gouda starter culture. I don't think you guys want to listen to Dutch radio, so or maybe you do, but I don't. Alright, so cheese culture goes in first. Then, the second thing is what will actually turn milk into cheese, and that's what we call rennet. And rennet is a digestive enzyme that is needed to break down the milk. Yeah? Now here we use a microbial rennet, which makes the cheese vegetarian. Once we add them both in, we then wait half an hour, and what happens is that the milk breaks down. So fat and protein sticks together and separates from the liquid. So everything thickens. Once everything thickens, we grab 3 of these nice knives, we hook them on the arms of the machine, and slowly cut that mass into smaller pieces. And that takes about an hour. After that, it looks like this. Now you see 2 parts of the milk. You have the liquid, which is called the whey, and you have the solids, which are the curds. And that's what we turn into cheese. Now on days that we want to add flavoring to the cheese, this is also the moment that we do that, before we take the cheese out. Now cheese are then all hand scooped out of the tub using a sieve and container. We hand scoop everything out, we fill up the container. I'm just going to use this full. Lid goes on. Oh, it's still wet. Lid goes on, and then everything's stacked up under the press. So all the water is pressed out. Now cheese are going to be pressed on both sides. So first one side, then you flip them over, put them back, label them, and back onto the press they go again. After both sides are pressed, they're turned over one more time. But this time we remove the sieve and the cheese, they don't go back under the press. They only go back in the container and sit like that for the rest of the day. And that will give the cheese a chance to sink in, the way to drip out, but also the souring of the cheese. Now then, at the end of the day, all the cheeses, they go swimming in one of these salt baths. There's salt water, and salt water is used as a natural preservative. It depends on the size, how long they go in, because small and medium ones only go in overnight. But the really big ones, the ones that are still in here, those go in for 2 nights, but the big ones in for 4 nights. Then in the morning when they're ready, we take them out, dry them off, and they usually go on this table to dry. But they already moved most of them. They left these. Now what you see, they'll look like this normally. They're still very white, and they're not completely yellow yet. Yeah? But what you also see is that as the cheese dries out, it does have a natural yellow coloring to it. Yeah? That's also why we use yellow or orange for the outside, because it looks more natural. But that outside layer that you see, that's just wax, so you can make that any color you want. We also make Heineken cheese. Do I have one here? Heineken with beer in it. You guys know Heineken?
Yeah.
We make those green because then they look like the bottles. Now cheese are hand waxed, so these you can see also have one layer of wax. So with the sponge you do one side first, wait for that to dry. Tomorrow we'll do the other side, again wait for that to dry. And each side of these cheeses will have to be waxed at least 3 times. So only the waxing will already take 6 days. When making only takes a morning. Yeah, because in the afternoon it sits in a container and then at night everything goes into the salt. Now the whole process altogether will therefore take a little less than 2 weeks. And then you serve very young cheese, and as the cheese becomes older and older, the more flavor they develop. Yeah. The cheese, if you want to keep them when they're finished, you leave them always room temperature on the shelf. So everywhere where you see cheese, you'll see it's room temperature. If you don't have like a wooden cutting board or something, put some paper towel on there, something absorbent, because the cheese will sweat as they age. So you put the cheese on top. Once a week, you flip the cheese over and make sure they stay dry of the sweat. And then if you continuously do that, they theoretically will last forever. They don't have an expiration date, but they do continue to age. At one point, they're going to be rock solid, like this one. Yeah. Now you can still eat this. The only problem is you can't cut it, so you have to grate it. And this one tastes more like Parmesan. So the younger one's going to be very soft and creamy, and as the cheese becomes older and older, they'll become more harder like a Parmesan. Now when you cut the cheese open, you cut the cheese open on one side, not in the middle, otherwise you have 2 parts that dry out or mold. If the cheese molds, that's no problem. On the outside, you just wipe it off, and on the inside, you just cut it off. Yeah? So that's why open the cheese on one side, so you have one exposed surface, cut a little bit of the wax off, and eat the cheese from one side to the other. When they're open, cover only the exposed surface, and that's when you can refrigerate them. So unopened, they never go in the fridge. Open, you can put them in the fridge. Yeah? Now since you guys will have to fly home, what we'll do for you is we'll vacuum seal the cheese so you can take them through customs.
Even
Now,
through England?
Are you guys going to England?
Yeah.
Then you have to eat it before you get there. Or you have to smuggle it. Or you have to smuggle it.
Not for a 5k fine.
There's not a 5k fine. They'll just take it from you. They'll take it from you. That's all. That means you have to smuggle it in your stomach. But yeah. Otherwise they vacuum seal, but at home you take them out of the vacuum seal and then you leave them room temperature on the shelf. Yeah? Okay.
So will that be fine through England?
You're going by bus. Look, officially,
No.
no. But if you're by bus or by car, they don't really check you. If you're flying, then I would definitely say no. But just don't tell Natasha.
It's up to you if you want to take them.
I know. He does know when you tell it to field.
No, but so far, like a lot of these groups, so far we've never had that someone, but you never know, eh? It's